Hey, Sandra, I am so excited to have you today. Thank you for being open to this wonderful conversation. I'm Maxwell. I'm the inventor of PeelAways, and you've been a wonderful customer of ours for a very long time.
Oh, yes, yes, and I will be for a very long time, hopefully, in the future. My
This
name is
is,
Sandy, and I live in South Florida, but I recently did some traveling about 3 years ago. My mom broke her hip, and part of her recovery was coming to the realization that her dementia diagnosis is progressing, and it there are five of us. So when we were in the middle of her recovery, we discovered PeelAways, and it was something that I had been aware of since the pandemic, but I didn't have an ongoing order with you at that time. I'd just been buying them here and there. But boy, once I found those and put them on her bed, let me tell you, she started sleeping better because the PeelAways reflected her body heat back into her. And that was one of the issues that she was having. And then when I took her to Kansas in the wintertime, that became even more important. And I mean, not to mention the convenience, that they afford. But yeah, PeelAways has made a big, big difference in my life.
I am so thankful for you, allowing us to be part of your life. And just get a little background before you were introduced to PeelAways and understood and started purchasing PeelAways. Before PeelAways, what was the hardest part about dealing with, having to change bed sheets more often than traditional? And what what has gotten better since you've been working with PeelAways?
That's an easy one. That's a very, very easy one. The most important and the biggest change, I mean, it's inconvenient to have someone that that periodically will wet the bed, but boy, soiling the bed or throwing up or the dog getting on the bed or being at someone else's house and having to worry about the dog being on the couch, all those things were really taken care of by having the PeelAways. I ordered them to go on couches when I was visiting my siblings. We spent 6 months at each of my siblings' houses, and I didn't have to worry about which couch did mom sit on. Was there going to be an accident? Which couch is the dog on? Is she going to bring muddy paws up on the furniture or anything like that? I'll tell you, it was a game changer, and it really took a lot of the anxiety of being at my siblings' homes away and allowed us to enjoy time with our mother. So I spent time in Kansas. There were a total of 5 dogs in that house. The PeelAways are still being ordered for them.
Let's go. And so when the
So,
dogs do get their footprints, or if your mom does have a little accident, it's as simple as it sounds, correct?
oh, very simple. Yeah, it's very simple. It takes 5 minutes, when the dogs come in and they're up on the furniture. It takes 5-10 minutes for them to settle down, and it takes 5-10 seconds to get the couch back in order. That's about it.
That is
So
so.
that's been a big one. My grandson went through potty training and everything like that, and having the PeelAways for him was also very helpful.
Oh, this is so wonderful. So you use it from the dogs jumping all over the furniture to your mother who had a hip replacement, all the way down to your grandchildren. Wow. So
Yes,
you got
yes,
the whole array of using PeelAways, and it's essentially for keeping hygiene for all of these different moments.
that's correct. That's correct. The hygiene is important. The heat retention is important because it does reflect heat back to my mother's body. But in the summertime, when it's warm and you don't really want that, it's also very easy to put a cooling pad, um, put a cooling pad between the layers of the sheets,
Yeah.
and that works phenomenal. That works really good.
Wow. Maybe that could be a new invention of ours. That's such a wonderful. I didn't even think
Well,
about
that's your first
that.
suggestion.
Yeah, and I actually have a new invention right next to me. I want to show you at the end to get your feedback and potentially be one of our
Okay.
early testers, because it's a new version of PeelAways that is more concentrated towards pets and
Okay.
and travel. So I'm super excited to show you. I'll show you right now. How about that?
Okay.
So, I would be thrilled if you'd be one of our earliest testers and our newest products that we're going to launch in March. So if we have them in March, they'll be here in about April. And so it's essentially a PeelAways. It's one fitted. I apologize. I'm so used to saying that. It's a pad that has a sticky surface on the back, an adhesive
Uh-huh.
on the back, and it has a non-slip on the coating on the back. And then, as cool as PeelAways, it has layers. So you would stick it to a
Oh,
surface.
wow.
You just peel these off as they get soiled. You would have the open here, peel it off, and have a brand new, highly absorbent incontinence pad below. So this is PeelAway pads, and just off the record, super excited. If you'd be happy to, give us your wonderful feedback. We'd send you a
Of
few
course.
samples as well.
Of course. I would love to try that. Now, those would be appropriate for, say, chairs or recliners or car seats, or yeah, I could go on, but I mean,
You're absolutely
what
correct.
size
So
are they is what I'm asking.
we do all sizes. That one's 36 by 36, which is essentially the normal size of a pad. And then we're doing smaller sizes for wheelchair covers. That's what we've heard from many folks that are looking for innovation in that space. And then we have a size right in between as well that could be used miscellaneous for all different uses.
That does sound very, very interesting. And yes, I would love to check out those. I'm going to
That's,
need ones to fit car seats, to fit wheelchairs, to fit recliners. Let's see, those are the first three. Oh, the dog's bed. I want a couple for
that's
the
so
dog's beds. Yep.
it's so funny. Use it for so many different purposes. It's so cool. Everybody always says, who's the biggest customers for PeelAways? And you hit all three of them, from grandchildren to elderly care. And it's so funny how many comments and reviews we get. My elderly Great Dane, my cat spites me every time I leave and urines in the bed. So it's got this wonderful, all around solution for so many folks. And from your experience, each layer is 100% leak proof, no matter what happens on top of the PeelAways.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. When I first started buying Peel Away, that wasn't necessarily the case. But something changed, not I mean, like maybe my second or third order. I don't know if you updated, I don't know if you went to a different form of manufacturing. Something changed and they have been 100% leak proof. I haven't had an issue in a very long time now. And believe me, my mom puts them to the truest of tests because she's a mover and a shaker. She has dementia and she will literally spin circles in that bed. And if I don't get to her in time, I don't have to worry about it going through. It does not go through. Um, it's amazing. It's such a relief to be able to just go in, deal with the clothing, deal with the undergarments, and just peel that sheet off and throw the whole mess away. It's just wonderful.
No, I remember when I started the business, my grandmother goes, Maxwell, do you know what a handkerchief is? And I go, yeah, like a bandana. You put it over your head when you go to a concert. She goes, no, Maxwell, a handkerchief. And I go, okay, what is a handkerchief, grandmother? And she goes, every single day we would have our handkerchief. We would use it. We would wash it when we get home and we would iron it. And she said Kleenex, or disposable napkins, became the traditional way, the new way of doing things. And that's what PeelAways is for bedding. And so, I always compare it to diapers. In the 1940s to the 60s, diapers were doing the transition of being cloth or disposable. And just, the convenience and practicality of the disposable has obviously stuck for the past decade. And I got a feeling it's going to go for a few more.
I got a feeling it will.
Um,
Yeah.
if you were to recommend PeelAways to somebody else, who would you recommend it to and why?
Oh, I do recommend PeelAways to a lot of people. I recommend PeelAways to my sister-in-law, my brother, my brother, my brother. Yep, there's three of them. My sister I didn't have to recommend to because she was in the house with me caring for my mom. Um, but she's living by herself now, so she doesn't order them anymore, but the rest of them still order. Um, they do. It's not very frequently because they're not dealing with mom. I've got mom. Oh, oh, here's my girl.
There
This
she.
is my diabetic alert dog. Her name is Sugar.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah, her
So
name is
brilliant.
Sugar.
How
She's a
wonderful.
diabetic alert dog.
And what does that
Yeah.
mean?
All right,
And
Sugar. Off.
she knows when there's low. It's so. I mean, this is just different subject. It's so cool. These dogs know that it is low blood sugar or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, she knows I skipped a meal and my blood sugar is a little low right now, so that's what she's trying to tell me. That's why she wants my attention. But as far as who I recommend them to, right now, my mom is under hospice care, and my husband is under hospice care, and every single time someone comes in, they want to know, where did you get those bed sheets? What are they called? Let me take a picture of them. I need to recommend them for this client, for that client, for the other client. I have a cousin who does elderly care in Mississippi, and she also, I recommended them for her. She had a client that she was working with that began ordering them, and I do recommend them to a lot of different people in a lot of different situations. My granddaughter goes to preschool, and the the crib sheets, the crib peel-aways fit her mat very, very well. And the other parents want to know where she got them. And so we recommend them to the parents of toddlers and so on. But there's a lot of different people that I recommend them to.
That is so wonderful. And for hospice, I'm sorry this is what the situation happening, but it allows you to, it allows you to have more dignity and allows the independence. And even from the professional caregiver, the team that comes over to the family caregiver, it seems to be a wonderful benefit. I'm so excited about it.
Definitely, definitely. And I'll tell you now, it's the hospice team that I'm with. They just absolutely love it. They think it's phenomenal.
And what specific use case do they use it for? Because we're working with a few hospice nurses, but we're trying to make it more mainstream and become protocol for hospice.
Well, the um the the main thing that I use it for is is the bathing. When hospice bathes, they do sponge baths in the bed.
Mm.
And if they have, they have their chucks and they have their little pads and so on like that. But if they're bathing the entire body, then that's pretty much the entire sheet, underneath, that will need to be changed, or use a pad or something like that. And that's creating laundry for the family that you're going in to serve. And if you're going in as a convenience for the family, having a disposable sheet that you take the mess with you, more or less, when you empty the trash, then that's less laundry for the family that you're, trying to provide a convenience for.
Wow, this is so important because, I invented PeelAways for myself in college, and all these new markets, there's people that should use it, there's people that could use it, but it's so wonderful hearing from people on the ground who use it every single day, and it became part of their lives. And you're showing these nurses who, should have the wherewithal of all these new products, but it's making everyone's life easier, because I didn't know that was a great instance for PeelAways to be used while a hospice nurse is cleaning your loved one. Because you were saying that they use pads and other tools, but it creates more
Yeah,
laundry, not nearly as efficient.
correct, correct. I mean, they come in and they have their pads similar to your new product line that you're promoting, and they're just not big enough. When you're doing an entire body, you would need 2 or 3 of them, to reach from one end of the person to the other. And if you're doing the hair, then the water starts at the head and it's going down the person's back, and it's settling in the center of the bed, and the person ends up, you know, the with the water going off of the little pads that they're using. But if I have my peel away, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When they're done and the patient is rolled to one side, you just peel that side, roll the patient to the other side, and the whole thing is done. It's done. The patient's on a dry surface and out of the discomfort zone, because that's one thing that a lot of elderly people, and this is my sixth experience with hospice. I've helped with several other people that I know. And that's one of the things. Very, very quickly, they develop an intolerance for being wet, or the surface beneath them being wet. And PeelAways is a very, very quick and easy fix for that.
Wow. I wish I've spoken to you many years ago. I didn't know these type of things. And unless I speak to our customers directly, I don't know these things happen. In many cases, the nurses, we try and communicate with nurses, like professional caregivers. They're very overwhelmed and they don't have the chance to try something new. We do have a few that are willing to try new things, but it's so wonderful hearing it from a family member who's done this 5 or 6 times. You seem like a really good person. That's so amazing of you. I can imagine a lot of these situations incredibly hard, and so anything that can make them easier is wonderful. And so from our experience, we hear the most stories of PeelAways was one of the best solutions for the middle of the night, when there is an accident in the middle of the night, and for folks wanting to age in place of choice. I noticed that you're in Florida, so I'm sure there's many homes that people could go to, but the alternatives are incredibly expensive. So keeping somebody home is what people prefer, and it's also the most reasonable way of taking care of a loved one.
Well, let me tell you about overnight. Overnight, before PeelAways, was at least an hour and 15 minutes cleanup. By the time I cleaned the bed, by the time I soaked and took care of the soiled linens, the soiled pajamas, and so on like that. After PeelAways, it's a matter of 25 minutes. The end.
That's so wonderful.
It made that much of a difference.
But the actual sheet change itself, the 25 minutes is doing the clothing, doing all of the, the wiping down.
Doing all of it from start to finish, yeah.
So using a PeelAways, essentially cuts off like 40 minutes of this entire process. Yes. With the PeelAways, I'm not having to soak and treat the bed sheets. I'm not having to soak and treat the underpad. I'm not having to soak and treat, all the multiple layers. It's the only thing I'm soaking and treating is the actual pajamas. That's wonderful. God, you're gonna make me cry again. And so when it comes, I cried on the last call. I'm not gonna lie. When I spoke to a customer of ours, she mentioned that during COVID, that we internally our supply chain got hurt, and so we were running low on some sizes. And she says, please don't ever go out of business. And she was using it for her 31-year-old special needs son, which is another use case. Yes. That's another place I've recommended them, was at the special needs school that I worked at. So, between us, if you have any other recommendations of folks that you believe we should send samples to, we're going to be happy to, comp the next few orders that you have. We're so appreciative of this wonderful, the best way to learn is to learn from your customers and learn from people who've been using it for an incredibly long time. And so incredibly thankful for your time today. And I do have one suggestion. Please, that was going to be my next question. If there is anything you wish PeelAways could be different or improved, please let me know.
Okay, this is my suggestion. You have wonderful, wonderful between this seam and that seam, but the edge of it that goes around the edge of the mattress, please make that waterproof also.
So you're
The
talking the
edge,
fitting part.
the fitted sheet part of it. Yes. Yes, please make that waterproof also. That would be a great, great help because I'm tired of the nature's miracle on the side of the mattress.
Thank you so much for letting me know. You're not the first person to say that. So what we're actually going to do is put the waterproofing on the outside. So it would simply just be a wipe down if anything did go on, because right now it is just a material without any waterproofing. But if we turn the waterproofing
Yeah,
inside out, so if we like turn PeelAways inside out, the waterproof would be on the outside. And so you would simply
correct.
just be able to wipe it off. That is a wonderful, wonderful solution and helping us to improve the product, because you're not the first person to say that. And it's the next batch of PeelAways that we create. We're gonna do that. So today I am
Well,
so
thank
thankful
you.
to meet you. You've been a longtime customer. I've seen your last name, pop up, and it always gives me joy when I see, Sandra Warwick. And
Okay.
if you could continue spreading the word, if there's anyone that you believe you should introduce us to, I'm the founder. We're still building this business. We're trying to be, come the go-to product for these type of instances. And I
I have
appreciate.
a name. I have a name. Actually, it's a Sarasota County in Florida has a special needs school known as Oak Park. They have everything. They have from 3-year-olds up to 22-year-olds when they age out of the system. Oak Park would be an incredible place to introduce to PeelAways
Are you
because it
are you
is a
familiar
school
with?
setting. It is a school setting, and they are all special needs students. Some come in wheelchairs, some come on stretchers, some come with service dogs, and there's not one student there because of where they live. They're all there based on their need. And we do have a wing that is um, entirely dependent on regular changes and so on like that. I could see your products being very useful there.
If there is a warm introduction, we would be thrilled to donate a good amount if they believe it's a helpful solution for them. My parents are actually in Sarasota as we speak, so I'm going to
Oh,
tell them
wow.
if there's a way to go by. But if there's any warm introductions that you believe to help us spread the word, as you can imagine, over the years, just COVID and tariffs and everything have made business a little harder than it needs to be. But having such wonderful customers, and then if there's any places you purchase other products that you use, I'd love to get the .coms or whoever recommends products to you. I'd love to see if there's a way to, we were just introduced to bedwetting.com, and you would just, that's a wonderful place to have PeelAways and
So would
alongside
Carewell.
care.
Carewell is a big one. I asked them why they don't have your product, and they didn't have a good answer.
Can you say that one more time?
Carewell. Carewell.
Gotcha. And so
Carewell.
you asked them and that they don't hold
I
a product.
asked them why they don't carry your products. And they said, well, I said, no. You need to find out who they are. You need to find out what they do, because this is something you need to be selling.
I see them on the internet, and I see that they have a wonderful presence in the continence and the diaper community. And I agree, they should have our products on their website. So Bianca and team, because I've reached out to them a few times, I also got a funny answer from them. Well, not an excellent answer. So I really appreciate you saying that, and I will go to quote you on that next time I reach out. So
There you
Sandra,
go.
if you don't mind, we'll stay in touch. We're going to follow up and double your next order, and it'll be on us. And if this Oak Park school If you have any warm introduction, I would love to communicate with them. And if we could donate, 100, 200 units, it would be my pleasure and honor to work with them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. It was
So,
nice to see you.
so kind, and thank you so much. I know sometimes these are incredibly hard conversations. And so you're a light of joy. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much.
So.
Bye.